Welcome into another edition of Keeping Up with Marshall County Athletics, presented by Wintzell's Oyster House. Make sure to come up to Wintzell's in Guntersville and enjoy some great food, great atmosphere. They've got TVs, bar area, all kinds of stuff to enjoy sports and enjoy some great food. And we appreciate their support with high school athletics right here with Average Joe Sports Talk and Keeping Up with Marshall County Athletics. Joined this week by the Guntersville football program, Coach Lance Reece, and Coach, it's been a great year for you and your guys. You had a bye week this past week, and to me it comes at a great time. You come after a very physical game with Scottsboro, one where you see a whole different offense and a whole different type of philosophy before you now get ready for Arab and Coach Lee Osment coming up this week. And so kind of talk to me a little bit about this season up to this point, and then really how big this bye week was and giving you guys an extra week to prepare for a really good Arab team.
Right, we're happy with where we are right now. We're undefeated. Feel like we've shown improvement since the season started. We played a really good Buckhorn 6A playoff team week 5, and we wanted to do that to kind of see where we were, because we know when we get in the playoffs we're going to see teams with a lot of speed. And we had that game with Scottsboro, who was leading 5A and scoring 50, scoring 50 points a game. They run the double slot option. Our guys really did a great job preparing. Coaching staff did a good job with the scheme, but the players really executed well, held them to 6 points, and got a big region win. So it was good to have the week off, but for me as a football coach, when you're playing good, I kind of like to keep it the same.
Yeah.
But we gave the guys, we had some guys banged up like you always do this time of year, so we gave them some time off, came back in at the end of the week, and then now this week we've been focused on Arab.
Just tell me a little bit about the Scottsboro week. I mean, how different is that week compared to any other week during the year because of the type of offense they run?
Yeah, we really had to spend a lot of time with our scout team, because your defense can't get ready without a good look. So we practiced that scout team almost as if they were going to play. So we watched film with them. We did defense at the end and let them actually run the option during our offensive period. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Thomas, is a no-option quarterback himself. So he took them, and then they did a really, really great job giving us a picture all week, and our players kind of bought into the total different philosophy of got to have some guys on the dive, some guys on the quarterback, some guys on the pitch. Then the secondary's got to be, they've been pass first all year, but you've almost got to be run first versus that Scottsboro option. So players did a great job. Second half we got our running game going, and there's no better defense than the offense that's got the ball. So we got our offense, our running game going on offense, kind of kept the ball away from them. So just a total team effort and a great win for our program.
Did that game kind of surprise you with how it ended up going? I mean, 20-6. A lot of people, I mean, we sat right here, me and Bo were like, well, what's the over-under for this game?
Yeah.
Is it close to, So
Yeah.
Did 20-6 kind of surprise you at the end of it that night?
I had heard people say that they thought it was going to be a shootout. Whoever had the ball last might win the game, because we were scoring about 38 a game and they were scoring 50. But as a guy that was a defensive coordinator forever before I became the head coach, I always take a lot of pride in defense, and we do. We work on it just as much as we do our offense. So the guys didn't really like the thought of us just trying to hold on. And we really had a great practice Monday through Thursday. I could see that the guys had a sense of urgency in everything we were doing, from watching film to taking it on the field. So had a great week of practice, and thankfully it paid off.
How much does that speak to your leadership in your mind, the fact that, biggest game of the year really to that point, and your team shows up ready to go and ready to be focused?
Well, I'm fortunate to be the head coach of this program, where I've got great assistants and we've got good talent. We've got a community that supports us. So just fortunate to be the coach here. And our quarterback had gotten hurt the previous year, and we had dropped that game to Scottsboro. And so it meant a lot to us, just for the players, kind of getting a little revenge for that loss the year before, along with being a region win. So I didn't have to do much in lines of motivation to get them ready for that. They were kind of self-motivated, and that's what you want.
What about the leadership of these players? Your seniors, the guys that you really are counting on to, be the leaders of this group, for them to kind of get everybody together and say, hey, this is a week, we got to be focused, we got to be ready to go, we got a bye week. So what else is there to focus on besides getting ready for Scottsboro?
Yeah, you're right. We got 15 seniors that do a great job, and I told the guys today, I try to be a good football coach, but I'll probably be the world's worst cheerleader. So I want that motivation. I don't want me to have to get them going. They need to be self-motivated, and that needs to start with their senior class, and we've got 15 of them, and they do a great job. They take a lot of pride in Guntersville football. We've got a great tradition, and they want to keep that going.
When you look at the Buckhorn game, you mentioned that you're playing a 6A opponent, dominating them really the way that you guys were able to. Do you feel like that kind of gave this group an extra confidence boost as well going into these last couple games?
Yeah, I think that it did, because when you flip on the film and look at somebody like Baucom, you see big linemen, you see great athletes. Matt Patterson's a really good coach, and so he does a good job with them. So to have success in that does help you later on. And then, like I said, when we see some of these teams we haven't seen before in the playoffs, and you flip on that film, you're like, oh my goodness, all this speed. At least we know we've seen that previously.
When you look at Buckhorn this year, lost to Helena and then a loss to Gadsden City the very next week, and outside of that, they've played really well outside of y'all.
Yeah.
Were y'all able to emulate some things that Helena and Gadsden City were able to hurt them with and led to some of y'all's success?
We always keep the focus on us, and we feel like if we do what we need to do and play our best, that we're going to have a shot to win any ball game. So we didn't really try to emulate anybody. We just tried to be the best version of us, and we feel like if we do things right, we've got a chance.
Tell me about this bye week. A lot of different coaches tell me that, hey, this week we just focus on us. We don't worry about the next team, all that. How did y'all approach the bye week and handle the bye week?
Yeah, we tried to, first of all, we gave the guys some time off, because I feel like you need a little break. We've been around them and they've been around us, so they got to spend a little time off with their family. And then when we came in at the end of the week, like you said, we focused on us, trying to clean up some stuff that we felt like on both sides of the ball we needed to work on. Also work on special teams. And then you just want to get them back out there running and get them back in kind of in the mindset, so that when Monday came this week, we could turn our attention to A-Rob.
When you came back yesterday for practice and everybody was back out there and everything, could you kind of sense that, hey, they had gotten a break and they're happy to be back out here, happy to be back around each other?
Yeah, I could. They were. We had one of our better Mondays of the year. Mondays is not usually, a lot of times you're still kind of banged up, but because we had been off, we could have more of a regular type practice. So we felt like we got better. Today was a good day as well. We got a tremendous amount of respect for A-Rob and Coach Osmond and the job they do. And everybody was bragging on us about that Scottsboro win. And I told the team and anybody, I said, beating Scottsboro only made the A-Rob game bigger as far as I'm concerned. So it was great. We enjoyed it, but now we're focused on A-Rob.
It's an A-Rob team that, to me, has kind of been dealing with having the circle on their back this year, for what they've done the last couple of years, making it where they've made it to and stuff. And
right.
So tell me what you see with this team, and, what are some of the things that they're going to be able to do that maybe will give you some problems and kind of keep you up at night?
Right. A-Rob is a physical football team, and they always play really well on the offensive line. They're not going to beat themselves. They put themselves in a good position to make plays. They're going to make you make plays to beat them. They don't put the ball on the ground. They don't get a lot of penalties offensively. And then on defense, they run a 3-3, but they run it different than a lot of people do. They really change their secondary up. They do different things. They've got a really good Mike linebacker who's aggressive, and they're going to try to stop the run and get you in long yardage situations. And when you do, with that way they play their secondary, they put you in position to turn the ball over. So we're going to have to be sound in all areas of the game.
I was looking at the region standings. A win here wins the region for you guys, correct? So, yeah. Does that kind of serve as the motivation for this week with your guys?
In Marshall County, we're really fortunate, and the kids play for the county championship. When I came over here, I didn't even know what people were talking about. But we've got, we got Douglas, A-Rob, Boaz, and Albertville, who we all play. The kids take a lot of pride in that, because we play good football in this county, so it's kind of a county rival game. When you're playing a rival for the region championship, it's Guntersville, A-Rob, and that's enough.
Yeah.
So I hadn't had to spend a lot of time talking about the region, because A-Rob did beat us last year. We'd beat them 9 games in a row, and then they beat us last year. So once again, the guys are motivated because of the loss of the previous season.
You mentioned, hey, we're playing well. I don't want to take a break, the way that you have. So is that maybe one of your biggest concerns going into this, is maybe some of the momentum is broken up and it may take you a couple of drives to get back going in this game?
Yeah, you don't want to let the bye week be a negative. You want it to be a positive. So I'm a guy that's been doing it forever and likes repetition. But anyway, I talked with the coaches, and we felt like we had a good plan. And we're going to try to have a good plan this week, but plans don't win games, the players do. So I know they'll give their best effort, and it's going to take that this week.
What are your biggest keys for this game? What is your group really going to have to do well in order to be able to win this one?
In a rival type game, is always going to be very emotional. And sometimes when you're emotional, you kind of let I don't know, thinking about, hey, I know that guy or I date that girl over there from Arab. And you start thinking about those things and not worrying about doing your job. So we've got to do what's brought us success this season and not let the fact that we're playing Arab impact how we play the game.
Coach, really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us this week on Keeping Up Marshall County Athletics, and good luck to you and your group. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one goes on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We'll be back with more Keeping Up with Marshall County Athletics right after this. Welcome back in to Keeping Up with Marshall County Athletics, presented by Wintzell's Oyster House. Again, want to thank Wintzell's for their sponsorship here with us and Average Joe Sports Talk, allowing us to talk to all these teams around Marshall County. Make sure to come out, enjoy some great food at Wintzell's and a great atmosphere. And again, we appreciate their support with high school athletics right here with Average Joe's Sports Talk. I'm joined by two members of the Guntersville football team, Eli Morrison and Royce Baucom. And guys, you look at the year for you guys so far, a great year. No losses on the, on the resume so far, which is obviously a good thing. What in y'all's mind has really led to the success of this team so far and you guys having the type of year that you've been able to have up to this point?
We just work on ourselves every week, and we treat every game like, it's one of our last games, because for the senior class it is. And we focus on ourselves, and our coaches do a great job at game planning and figuring out what the other team's strengths and weaknesses are, and figuring out our strengths and weaknesses, and fixing our weaknesses, and building our strengths. And I think that we work on ourselves and we keep the team first instead of ourselves first. That's why we're successful as a group.
One thing that I think is huge for us this year is being a senior. I've seen 4 different groups come through the high school, and this is the most bought-in team I've ever been a part of. All the way up. From the scout team guys, they're bought in every week to give us the best look they can, and obviously the group of starters is just playing together, and the coaches are bought in, and everybody's fired up to try to take it all the way to state this year.
He mentions the groups before you guys, and obviously y'all had some groups, good enough to get you guys invited to go down to Montgomery to start the season a couple of years ago, be on a statewide stage. What did you guys really learn from those groups back then when you were younger that y'all have now taken into being the leaders of this team now this season?
I would say the importance of practice. One of the biggest things coming out of middle school is you can kind of slack around in practice almost in middle school, and then if you're good enough, you'll be fine in the game. The groups before us, though, that really showed us that you work your butt off in practice, and then it's going to pay off on Friday nights. And so I think that's a huge thing for everybody to learn.
I think that you practice like you play, and the groups before us, they practice hard, and sometimes harder than the game was. And I think that's the most beneficial thing in anything, is practicing harder than you end up playing. That's how we are as a group, and I think that's how the teams in the past were, and I think that's why they were successful, and that's why we are successful, and that stems all from the coaches and the coaches playing into the week.
You look at this community here, obviously right here behind us, new school getting built and people investing in facilities, investing in you guys. How much does that help you guys, I guess, go out there, play hard, want to practice hard every week, knowing, hey, we got a whole community behind us that supports us and wants to see us do well week in and week out?
It's a great feeling. I think that with the community behind us, it's like another player. It's another just voice that helps us out. I pray all the time that the people will see the Lord through me, and I think that if we continue to do that, I think the people will continue to want to be bought into our program as we want to be bought into our community and things like that.
I think the community here at Guntersville is huge. I think people in the community care about Guntersville football a lot. Rarely do the home side bleachers, ever have any space left. We pack the games out, and they cheer loud, and it means a lot. Especially this season, coming off a 2-loss season last year, which is a down year for us. We want to obviously come back and finish the job and do things right from last year, but the community wants it just as bad, because it's a bragging point in Marshall County that we've got a tradition of winning, and the people in the community, they thrive off that. So it's definitely huge in Guntersville.
And talking about the community, I'm from down south in Alabama. I hadn't come up here a ton until here recently, and coming up here, I love this place. You know, I mean, I can see why people would want to come vacation here and stuff like that. What's y'all's favorite parts of getting to live here and live in a place that a lot of people love to come to just to spend weekends and just be at for, you know, small periods of time?
I mean, obviously in the summertime, the lake is the place to be. And then, you know, it's not far from Albertville or Huntsville, which are both, you know, two really growing cities. And so, you know, a lot of relaxing and chill things to do in Guntersville, and you're never too far from anything fun you like to do. So Guntersville's a great place.
When you go to certain cities, you'll feel that home feeling, as this is an inviting city, something that I would like to spend my time in. And I think Guntersville is one of those places. You know, some places may not be one of those towns or cities, but the people in this town, and they want you to come and visit. And we invite everybody to come to our games and to things like that, and it's just an inviting, homey feeling, summer and winter.
You know, you kind of brought up the point, you know, hey, we lost 2 games last year. It's a down year for us. And this is it's an athletics program that's always been very good. And, you know, people take a lot of pride just in the athletics here in Guntersville. Do y'all ever feel that and feel some is there any kind of pressure that comes from that, of having to kind of live up to expectation? Because people expect Guntersville to be good year in and year out. And, you know, if you have a year where you lose 3-4 games, I mean, they do look at that as a down year. And so is there any kind of pressure that comes with that, or is that something that you guys enjoy, having people have those expectations for y'all?
I think the pressure's built in. I think that we do a good job at not feeling the pressure as much as we should sometimes. Coach Reece is so used to feeling that pressure, coaching here for 33 years and so many wins. And we know that the pressure's there, but we also have faith in our guys and in the Lord, and we think that we're as successful as we want to be, and we're our team's kryptonite, and we're as good as we want to be, and that is all the motivation that we need as a group.
Yeah, kind of off what he said. You know, he said the pressure's built in, and you know, honestly, coming up through here, every team that I've ever been a part of, from freshman year up, has I guess you could say had the pressure, but it's just the expectation. Like when we lost 2 games last year, that was the worst season I'd ever had in my high school career. And I hated it, and I knew as soon as we played that last game, this will not happen again, you know. And it, you know, 2 losses. A lot of teams would love a 2-loss season. A lot of teams would think that, you know, they had a successful year, but we knew coming into the off season we were ready to work. And you know, like you said, Coach Reece is the most winningest coach in Guntersville history. If anybody's got a tradition of winning, it's him. And I promise he was definitely fired up coming into this season, ready to prove everybody that Guntersville's still here, and we're still going to win games.
Yeah, how much has that motivation carried this team this year, you know, to kind of be – I mean, obviously y'all have a good group, all that stuff, but, I mean, just, you know, the motivation of what y'all did last year, not living up to y'all's expectations, how much has that carried over to this team, kind of having the results they've had, having the work ethic they've had?
You could feel it all offseason. Everybody, you know, day one of spring training, everybody, it was an understood thing that we're ready to go to work. It was probably the hardest offseason I had, but nobody really complained. Everybody showed up every day and worked their tail off, and it's because we knew what our expectations were, and we knew how to accomplish them, and it's just work your tail off. And that's from the coaches to the starters to, you know, the scout team guys, you know, all the way through. We all worked our butts off, and we're reaping the rewards right now. I'm really proud of us.
We knew that we left something on the plate last year. We didn't get all that we came for, and we thought coming into this offseason that this was kind of, you know, it was all personal. Every game next year, make that personal and play like it's personal. And I think that's what we're doing. I think that's how we're being coached. I think that's how we're practicing, and hopefully that's how we'll continue to play. We have a big game coming up, but I think if we remain humble and keep our nose to the grindstone, I think that we can win out the season and hopefully do some damage.
Talked to Coach Reece a couple of weeks ago, and it was right after y'all had taken the trip over to Lawrence County. And tell me about that trip and what y'all learned about you know, when you take a long trip like that and you got younger guys and, you know, you're looking, this is their first time making a big long bus ride from the varsity team, things like that. What did y'all really learn about this group with the focus they took over there and the way y'all were able to execute with a long road trip like that?
I think that game, I think Royce can agree, that was I think our most lackadaisical game of the year. I think, you know, we came into that game, we're supposed to beat Lawrence County and this and that, but we were only up maybe 21 at half. Yeah, and so we learned that we can never treat any team like it's a cakewalk. Treat every team that they're just as good as the region champs or Scottsboro, whoever. We also learned that it's about the team and not about ourselves. I think that's the biggest thing, is that everyone after that game and into future games has started playing for the team and the team success instead of personal success.
Absolutely, man. I think one of the worst parts about the really long, hour-plus bus rides going into games is everybody has to try to stay mentally locked in. It's really easy at home when you're in your locker room the whole time. You can put your headphones on and you can really zone in, and when it's time to play, you're ready. Having to pack your bag, throw it under the bus, and then ride in the not so comfortable seats the whole way. It takes a toll at how mentally locked in you can really be. And I think if you go and watch our Lawrence County game, you can see that we didn't start off great. And we had to almost lock in at halftime, and then after half we came out and did our thing. But we definitely prefer the home games.
Looking back at the beginning of the year, a huge game with Southside to start the season. You guys were able to come out on top in that game, and how much did that add to the confidence of this team going forward with you guys playing as well as you did to start the year and getting a win over a team that hadn't lost a game since they played against you guys?
Yeah, that was a huge thing for us. I think especially going into kind of a lower point of our schedule, I think we just rode that high. I think we won that game, and everybody knew that work paid off, and we're not done. And I think we've just been, that was just fuel on the flame. I think we hadn't come down from that high, and then I think the big win over Scottsboro just amped us up more. So we're ready to finish out this regular season, hopefully undefeated, and take the playoffs head on.
We knew at the start of the offseason that we were going to have to play Southside the first game of the season. That was obviously going to be a tough game, and winning that game, pulling out a close victory, closest of the season so far, was huge for us in our moral confidence. And it was, people talk about more victories. Even though we got the real win, it was also a moral victory for us, knowing that our work does pay off against a really good Southside team. Like you said, only lost one game, and that's to us. And they beat a Leeds team who's really good. I think that they're very successful, and it taught us that our work does pay off. And as Royce said, we're riding that high right now, and I think that we may be over that game, but we'll go back and we're looking back and we're saying, man, we pulled out that game, we can pull out any game. We're looking at the brackets and saying that game may be the deciding factor of us making a deep run in the playoffs, and just that success at the start of the season so huge for the community and our team.
What about Buckhorn? Tell me about that one, a 6A team, non-region game. It'd be easy to maybe look at it and go, oh, they're 6A a little bit bigger. It's a non-region. We can relax a little bit. You guys went in there and y'all dominated a good 6A team. Has that done something for the confidence of this group also over the last couple of weeks?
100%. We treated that game like we were going in playing a big dog, in which they are. They're a 6A school, and we did everything that our coaches prepared us for. I think we were just successful in what we prepared. We just played within ourselves. And thank goodness we were successful. We came out with no injuries, and we, dominated the field. Our coaches coached us well, and I guess our players played well. We were successful. We didn't let off the gas, all gas, no brakes, and we just came out with a big win. I think that was a big win for our offense. I think that got our offense really rolling.
One of the best things I think about the Buckhorn game was I don't think anybody was worried that they were a 6A team. I think we came in and we had the attitude that if we do our job, we're going to come out with a victory. And I think that mindset is exactly what you need to be a good postseason team, because you're going to come across good teams in the postseason. And if you have the mindset that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what big name, Ramsey, Pleasant Grove, all these names you hear, that puts a lot of fear in a lot of other 5A teams, but I promise it doesn't Guntersville.
Yeah. Looking at the Scottsboro game, we talked about Southside 14-10 earlier in this season. How much did that game help in the Scottsboro game, where it's a low-scoring game? Y'all are used to scoring points, they're used to scoring points, but y'all had been through a game where offense isn't clicking on all cylinders, defense is stepping up. Did that result in the way that game went kind of help in the Scottsboro game, mentally knowing, hey, we've been in one of these before and we know we can get through one of these and figure out a way to win?
Absolutely. as an offensive player, I love to score touchdowns, but we've got a heck of a defense. And even in those games where maybe the offense isn't clicking or, you're kind of stalling out, I know that I always have faith in our defense that they're going to, keep a real low-scoring game. And that gives you confidence as an offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
If the other team's scoring every drive, that gives me a lot of pressure. We've got to score every drive too, but when the defense is just shutting them out, it takes a lot of the pressure off that we can just really calm down and do our thing.
We knew coming into the season that we had a good offense and good defense, but we also knew that there was going to be a game where our defense had to lean on our offense and a game where our offense had to lean on our defense. In the Southside game, our offense kind of had to lean on our defense a little bit in the beginning of the game. In the Scottsboro game, our offense once again had to lean on our defense, and it took some of the pressure off because we were like, we know that our defense is going to get a stop here. They've been doing it all year. They'll do it again, and we'll go out and score. And we did three drives of that game. Scottsboro runs a real hard triple option wing tee, and they don't give us the ball very much, and we just had to make it count whenever we did get the ball. And we messed up some things to work on, but our defense kept us in that game, and we eventually pulled out another win, a big win, biggest of the season so far.
Royce and Coach, they were bragging a lot before you came up here about the scout team, especially that week and how good of a look they gave and all that. But talk about the scout team just all year and how important they've been for this team, giving you guys the looks that y'all need every single week, preparing you guys for each Friday to be where you're at right now.
Well, I figured out that, you practice how you play, and if you practice real hard, then the game will seem easy. Our scout team gave a great look. Last week I was on the sideline when defense was in, and I heard one of our scout team players said, "Man, I gave it all I had. I left it all out in the field." And that's what we need every week. That's what our scout team does every week. That's what they're doing once again. And it gives us a great look, and sometimes a look better than Scottsboro or whoever will give us. We love those guys, and we're really appreciative of those guys. Sometimes they'll get looked over, but we don't look over them because they're just part of this team as we are, because we're not successful if they're not successful.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, our scout team is bought in. Most bought in group of underclassmen I've ever seen, and I think especially for games like the Scottsboro game where they run such an odd offense, the scout team being able to come in and in 2-3 days, almost master that offense and being able to show our defense exactly what it's going to look like. It's huge when it comes to preparing for a team like that against an offense that we're not going to see for the rest of the year. I think the scout team played the biggest factor over offense or defense in the Scottsboro game. So those guys were the MVPs.
Do y'all know guys from Scottsboro? Like, are y'all friends with any of the guys that are on the team there or close to anybody?
We keep it. I think we're cool with everybody, but we keep it a team friendship.
Yeah.
I think that. I don't know. We're cool within the team.
I just didn't know maybe y'all been able to kind of brag to them a little bit about how they've been scoring 50 a game and y'all held them to 6.
Well, there was a lot of talk from them coming after last season they beat us, which was first time in a while, and then all off season that's all we've heard about is we beat y'all last year and it's gonna happen again, and nobody from Guntersville really said anything, and we didn't have anything to say. They did beat us last year, and like Eli said earlier, nose to the grindstone, and we just knew we weren't going to let it happen again. It feels really good, though, when somebody's been talking all off season. You just come in, smile at them on the 50, knowing we held them to 6 and put points on the board. That's always a good feeling.
Did y'all like having the bye week the week after? Were you maybe able to enjoy that one just a little bit more and not have to just get ready for the next one immediately?
Absolutely. That one, biggest one of the season, I think we'd both agree. And we definitely that one definitely felt good for a while. All fall break, and having a bye week, so nothing going on, and we just enjoyed that victory. So, but one thing that I was happy about is I was worried that coming into this week, people would still be worried about the Scottsboro game. We've come into practice this week, and we forgot about it, because it's just like the first game of the season. We're ready to whoop tail.
Yeah. No, that's what I was about to ask. I mean, have y'all seen that switch flip now to, hey, we're happy we did that, but now we know we got a big one with A-Rab coming up. And plus, like Coach mentioned, I mean, this is a county championship for you guys, and one where you guys could go undefeated in the county this year, which is obviously very important to y'all.
Well, after the Scottsboro game, I was so pumped, but come that Saturday, right after the game, I was almost over. It's almost too quick, and I was ready to move on, ready for the next game. I just didn't want to go into that fall break with a loss, and I'm glad that we got out with a big win. But coming into this week, we're prepared. I totally forgot that we even played Scottsboro 2 weeks ago. We watched film on the Scottsboro game, and I was like, man, I just I'm almost too ready for the A-Rab game.
Yeah.
We're all real focused and real bought in. We had a great Monday, great Tuesday today, and hopefully build on it tomorrow and the next day. Scout team's giving a great look, and we're really excited about this region county championship. We think that if we do what we're supposed to do and work on ourselves, that we'll be as successful as we need to be to come out with another win.
What do you guys feel like it says about the leadership of this team, the fact that this team did kind of show back up, hey, we enjoyed celebrating the Scottsboro win, but now we know we have more games in front of us and we're ready to go and ready to get after it. And, it didn't take Coach grabbing everybody saying, hey, we need to, get focused. I mean, it just seems like everybody just showed up ready to go.
This is some of the best leadership that I've seen out of a senior class, all the way through offense and defense. I think everybody's on board that we want to put that undefeated banner at the end of this season. That's a huge thing. I think Guntersville's only had 6 of those ever. And, we all want to cap off our senior year, our last year here, with, our senior year on the banner. Like I was talking about the leadership, everybody else comes ready on their own. And, if you're not, somebody will pick you up and make sure that you are. Obviously the coaches get us fired up, but, that's not necessary with our group. We want to win, and the wins feel good until it's time to get ready for the next one.
How important y'all feel like getting the offense back going is this week? I mean, obviously defense played great against Scottsboro, but only 20 points. You guys have been averaging, 38 a game like you talked about before then. So how important is it to kind of get that rhythm back, get that momentum back, especially with the playoffs looming right around the corner?
It's very important. We just need to keep our confidence high. We know that we didn't play our best game against Scottsboro. We did what we needed to do to come out with a win, but we left stuff on the table as an offense, and we don't plan to do that this week. Everyone's bought in, and we're working on timing. Coaches have a great game plan once again. Hopefully we come out and be successful. We just have to trust in the Lord and trust within our teammates. And don't play for yourself, but play for the team. And I don't even care about my personal success. I just want to come out and kick tail as an offense, and I think that's what we're heading to do come Friday.
Absolutely, man. We're definitely ready to play. I'm really excited about the A-Rab game, and just really looking forward to it. I think that we looked at Scottsboro as a get-back game because they beat us last year, and A-Rab hadn't talked quite as much as Scottsboro did, but this is definitely a get-back game too. So this one's personal for us, 100%.
Tell me about this A-Rab team and what, y'all have seen them on film and seen them. I mean, what stands out to y'all about some of the things they do well that y'all are going to have to really be prepared for on Friday night?
So obviously as an offensive lineman, the main thing that I'm looking at is their box. They run a very unconventional 3-3. Weird shifts for the D lineman. Their Mike plays about 7 yards off the ball, which is not something that you ordinarily see. But it's nothing that we can't game plan for. They've got some dogs on their team, like every team does, and we know who they are, and we're 100% ready for them.
I'm a quarterback. I'm looking at not only with the box, but the coverage that they're in, and they'll play cover 3, they'll play cover 2, they'll play cover 4. They'll switch into a bear front, and they'll run man in the red zone. They switch out a lot, and they're good at what they do. I'm just learning the reads and the keys and to see what they're doing before it's too late. And they do some good things, but I think that if we game plan right and we play right, like our coaches are depending on us to do, I think we'll come out and be just fine.
What are y'all's biggest keys for y'all? I mean, what is y'all's group going to really have to focus on, do well themselves, to go out there and have the type of success you guys want on Friday night?
Just don't leave anything on the table as an offense. To be successful running the ball, throwing the ball, blocking, catching, to be successful in every area of the game. We think that we're just trying to focus on ourselves. Obviously, we have a big game ahead of us, but if we do what we need to do, then we'll be successful. We know that our coaches are going to give us a great game plan, and we just got to go out and execute it. Execution, and you can't play perfect, but we sure do try to play perfect every single snap.
One thing my offensive line coach, Coach Schofield, always says is get 5-on-5. And with the O-line, that's huge. You know, Arab's going to try to throw something funky at us. They do a lot of stunts, a lot of twists. But we got a smart group. We got a physical group. And when we get 5 guys blocking 5 guys, we take runs to the house. Really proud of E. Nelson this year. You know, obviously we wish we had Julian back. But, man, E. Nelson has stepped up and taken the reins and ran with them, literally and figuratively. He's a heck of a ball player, and we're looking for him to have a good game against Arab.
Guys, really appreciate both of y'all taking the time to come up here and join us this week, and good luck to you guys. Congratulations on what you guys have accomplished so far, but I know it's not enough for y'all right now, so really looking forward to seeing how you guys finish this year and wish you guys nothing but luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's going to do it for us on this week's episode of Keeping Up with Marshall County Athletics. Appreciate you tuning in. Again, appreciate Wintzell's Oyster House, and we'll be back next week with another episode right here with Average Joe Sports Talk.